This is the insane triple monitor setup with one 16x10 and two 15-inch 16x9 on the side of it that I was intending when getting this Intehill QLED monitor. This video is my unboxing and full review of the Intehill QLED portable 15.6-inch monitor. I've been using monitors like this for a few years now, especially when I'm out traveling or when I'm in the office and in a meeting room where there's no external monitor. And I really think that these kind of monitors really have a point to them. The problem though is that the monitors I've used previously have had pretty bad brightness and pretty bad color accuracy, making them like not that much of an actually usable experience. Intehill reached out to me and asked if I want to try the QLED monitor. This is a full HD QLED 15.6-inch monitor that plugs in over USB-C and that has some really good color and brightness stats to it. So I was pretty stoked to try it out because it really fits quite well with a lot of my different use cases. I'm W2Best, I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and if you like this kind of video, it would be super nice if you want to put a like on the video and maybe also subscribe to the channel. That gives me a ton of motivation to bring out new videos to you guys. If you want to communicate with me, you can do so in the comment section below or on Instagram where I'm also at W2Best. This guy costs $240 when you buy it right from Intehill. It's a 15.6-inch 16:9 aspect ratio with a full HD resolution, so that's 1920 by 1080. It has a 700 nit max brightness, although I don't have a brightness meter so I haven't been able to check that, but it gets really bright at the max brightness level. It is spec'd to have a color gamut of DCI-P3 99.7%, which is excellent and very much higher compared to other similar alternatives. A contrast of 1000:1, a response time of 2 milliseconds, and weighs roughly 675 grams. The things you need to plug it in and run it is in the box, so let's have a quick look at my unboxing and first look at it before we get into more review content. Here we have the box of the Intehill portable monitor. And this feels like a pretty high quality box to the first touch. And it's got some weight to it, but I think that's because it's premium packaging and together with some accessories. Because when it comes to something like this, of course we want it to be as lightweight as possible since it's a completely portable monitor solution. The box is wrapped up pretty intensely in a lot of plastic, so let's bring out a knife and get into this part of it. On the front you can see the monitor itself, and you can see that it has pretty slim bezels there. That is nice to see, and some very colorful prints as well. On the side here it says some compatibility, and here it says it's compatible with smartphone, PS4, Xbox, Switch, computer and tablet. On the other side here, it specifies that it's ultra slim, ultra light, HDR technology, and wide viewing angle. It's a 15.6-inch 1080p QLED monitor. The key features that are specified here is lightweight and easy to carry, HDR technology. We have FreeSync in it, which is also interesting when it comes to gaming experiences. It's plug and play. You can mirror or extend your laptop screen. It should be slim with a narrow bezel, and it is USB Type-C power delivery reverse charging. Let's open this guy up and see what is inside the box. I always appreciate when you can do this slow opening, so when you can lift the box and then it kind of comes off automatically. It doesn't really seem to happen. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is happening. Now it is happening. Woo! Slowly but steadily, this top lid comes off. This is also dressed with a bit of foam, so it's good for protective reasons, I think. Getting in here, in the very top, we have something that looks like a protective piece of plastic. So this is something that I assume that you're gonna put onto the monitor to protect it for scratches. And that's something I haven't seen before, so that's pretty good to see in a monitor like this portable one. Then we come into what I assume here is the main monitor. It might also be the case, but it feels like it's the main monitor. So let's get this one up here and see how it feels. Gracefully unpacking there. I would first have a look at the bottom part here where it has some rubber feet. And in my other monitor that I've tried, these guys came off pretty quickly, and that made it a bit hard for it to balance and to be able to stand on a table when using it. So I'm hoping that these guys will be a bit more sturdy, and that this case that also works as a stand is a bit more sturdy as well than what I've tried before. So the case, if we open this up, we see that it's got some kind of sort of stand feature built into it there. And I'm gonna try to place it up here and see how this works actually. So it connects magnetically in the back, and then when you place it like that, it actually seems to be standing pretty well. It connects magnetically, and it has this little thing here that sort of stabilizes and make it not move out too far. For sure, this is the most impressive bezel size I've seen in an external monitor, and probably one of the most impressive bezel sizes I've seen even in laptops. So this is really the kind of bezels that I prefer to have in a monitor. In the box we have a little portable monitor user manual. We then have a mini HDMI to full-size HDMI. This is good for connecting it to a Nintendo Switch, a PS4, or similar units like that that only come with HDMI. We have some wipes, I guess, to apply that screen protector that was in the package. We have a USB-C to USB-C cable that looks to be of relatively high quality, I think. Yeah, this is definitely not the lowest kind of quality USB-C cables, so that's pretty good to see. And then we have another cable here, and this I assume is for power purposes, because this is a USB-A to USB-C. So if you're using a unit like with the HDMI, then you're gonna have to charge it some way, or you're gonna have to power it. And then you need the USB-A to USB-C cable, and you can plug the USB-A into a wall outlet or a power bank to be able to power the unit. The monitor and these accessories is everything that is in the box, and let's try plugging this monitor in and see what it delivers. Here we have the monitor together with my Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Pro. And I'm gonna plug the USB-C cable here into one of the Thunderbolt ports. We're gonna try and plug the monitor in on the left-hand side here. It wakes up and says Intehill. And it is showing a duplicate version of my screen right there. Let's immediately go to the display settings and change so that this is extended instead of duplicated. Because this is a 16:10 unit and this is a 16:9 unit, as you can see you have some black borders on the side there. Now this is something we don't want to have, obviously, and the whole purpose of having a unit like this is to be able to extend the desktop. There we have the new settings applied, and this is a full HD monitor, and this is a quad HD monitor or a 2.5K monitor. So the resolution is different, obviously, and it's visible that it's a low resolution monitor. But I think this one looks really good in terms of both brightness and color accuracy. And I would like to have a quick look at what kind of brightness we can get it up to, because it usually starts off at a pretty low brightness. And yeah, wow, that is the max brightness. And that is bright. I'm gonna try comparing this to the brightness of my Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Pro. And I would say that this has a brighter background lighting than this guy has. And this is a 400 nit panel, and this is spec'd as more than a 400 nit panel, and it actually seems to deliver quite well on that. I'm gonna have to use this monitor for some time before I come back and talk a bit more about my experiences with using it. I've used this monitor now for about 2 weeks, and I've got a fair amount of use out of it, both here in my apartment in Gothenburg, as well as in the office in Gothenburg, and in my room in Stockholm, where I also work quite a lot. I have used this kind of monitors for a long time, and I will say that there are a few things that you really need to get right to make a monitor like this work properly. One thing that you really need to make sure is working well is the kickstand feature. And you need some way to mount this on the desk and make sure that you actually see it and can angle it the way that you want it. And the other monitors I've tried have had really flimsy kickstands that have just sort of fallen over very quickly when you try to put them on a table. This kickstand is actually working pretty well. As you can see there, you have this little thing that kind of stops the kickstand from folding out too much, and this really makes it quite stable. It is not that adjustable, which you should know. Like, it would be nice to have a bit of a hinge here and in some way be able to actually adjust the kickstand at different angles where you want it. Now you are dependent on these small rubber feet that are on the bottom here. And these rubber feet, while they do their thing, they actually make a bit of marks on the table, especially if you have a white table like mine. So these rubber feet I don't think is the ideal solution to be able to prop this monitor up on a table. The next thing you need to be able to run a monitor like this in a proper way is the inputs and outputs. And mainly what I'm talking about here is you want to be able to run on a single USB-C cable. So it needs to be able to take both monitor signal as well as power from one single cable. This unit perfectly works with one USB-C cable, and it has two USB-C inputs on the left-hand side there, as you can see. The main reason why you want two USB-C ports is that it also allows for pass-through charging. And this is the second thing I would state is super important in a monitor like this. You will be blocking one of your USB-C ports. And if you have a laptop where you only have one USB-C port, you're not going to be able to charge it if you're not having a monitor that has pass-through charging. If you're running this guy together with a laptop, your laptop is going to consume a lot of power. And you need that pass-through charging for it to be able to work long term. This guy also works really well with pass-through charging, and that, for example, is essential if I want to use it with my Huawei MateBook 14 that only has a single USB-C port, as well as when I was in Stockholm and I wanted to run this monitor together with my Yoga Slim 7 Pro, but I wanted two monitors over USB-C. And then I take up all the available USB-C connectors and I have to be able to charge it through one of the monitors for this setup to work long term. The absolutely ideal scenario of how you can use this kind of monitor for me is if you have a 15.6-inch laptop with a Full HD screen. Because propping this up next to a Full HD screen, which is actually what I do when I edit videos, I have a Full HD laptop that is 15.6 inch. It is such a well-working experience. What it allows me to do there is to just drag my whole video editing window out and use it over both of the two monitors. And this guy has some pretty slim bezels, so it won't intrude that much on the whole workflow, even if you have something drawn out over two monitor windows. That is as well applicable in Excel sheets, for example, where it's amazing for some of my work tasks to have an as wide array of columns as possible. But when you are using this together with a Quad HD computer, like my Yoga Slim 7i Pro, then, since this guy has a different resolution, it won't be an as fluid experience to drag windows out over the two different monitors. In that case, you're better off using one window on this monitor and then one window on your computer screen. On the right-hand side of this monitor, you have one OTG USB-C port. This is a port where you can plug in a mouse, a keyboard, or something similar that you want to connect via the monitor into your laptop. This is something that I haven't been trying out because I have my units running over Bluetooth, so this is not a very useful feature for me, but it's really good to know that it's there if you need to use it. And there you also have a 3.5mm headphone jack, so if you are running a computer without a headphone jack, you can use that one, and that could be pretty neat actually. On the right hand side you also find the controls, the on-screen display controls, and there you will just go in to, for example, adjust the brightness, which is something that you might want to do because this monitor gets up to an insane brightness level. Except the USB-C ports on the right hand side, we also have an HDMI port, or rather a mini HDMI port. This means that if you plug a unit in via HDMI and then power this with a USB-C to USB-A cable, you are going to be able to use this guy, for example, with a PS4, a Nintendo Switch or similar, and making it a very, very compact, full-on solution, for example, for traveling with your Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, right now I don't own a video game unit, so I can't show you how this works. This is the insane triple monitor setup with one 16x10 and two 15-inch 16x9 on the side of it that I was intending when getting this Intehill QLED monitor. But as you can see right here, this guy, that is my older monitor that I've had for some time, this is now at max brightness. This guy is at 50% brightness. And it's still very clear to see that this one is much brighter at 50% than this guy is at 100%. And I think this is one of the main things here with this review. I've used a monitor that looks very similar and seems very similar, but that I got very disturbed with at many points and ended up not using it much at all. I started using this guy with much better brightness and colors, and I just like using it. There's nothing that really disturbs me in the same way as it has done with this other monitor. So I think the most qualitative 3-monitor setup I can think of right now is getting 2 of these guys and then placing it one on each side of my Yoga Slim 7 Pro. And then I'm plugged into power and using the pass-through charging for charging the laptop and driving the monitors. So what is my final conclusion about using this Intehill QLED 15.6-inch portable monitor? I've been super happy with my overall experience of using this Intehill monitor. I will keep on using it for sure. There are a bunch of different use cases where this Intehill just fits right in for me, both when I'm in the office and when I'm at home editing videos. So having this guy available when I don't have a permanent monitor setup at home to be able to edit videos on a multiple screen computer is a really good thing for me. There are 2 things that I think could be improved with this product. The main thing is this rubber feet solution in the bottom. I don't think it's very good, and this, as you can see there, the rubber feet, it will probably come off at some point. It is making some black marks in the table when I use it on my white table. Not the best setup, according to me. I would also have preferred if there was one USB-C port for monitor on each side. Right now we have them both on the same side. And it would be lovely to be able to have a little bit more flexibility on how to plug into this monitor, depending on what side your USB-C port is on the computer and where you want to place the monitor, etc. Except that at this price point I can really recommend this monitor, and if you want to buy it I will place a few links in the description below. If you have any other questions about using it, I will keep on using it. I will probably be able to answer your questions pretty well, so just ask them down in the comments below and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. I'm W2West, I make in-depth gear reviews and tutorials, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day, bye bye!